welcome to yet another YouTube video here on this channel. This is a part of the daily reflection series where I just reflect on my days, weeks, or months, and I talk to you about things that have been happening and my thoughts around them without a filter, without a script, without anything. So in today's episode, let's call it episode, or in today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about not feeling good enough, because I know that a lot of people may feel that way from time to time. I at least know that I have felt that way from time to time, and it really got, let's say it got triggered, or I started thinking when I published my last YouTube video, which I wasn't too happy about. It isn't one of the best videos I have made, and I started overthinking and things just got a little too much in my head. But one thing that is really, really important, at least for me, in the things I do. So for those of you who don't know, I work in marketing, so I make a lot of videos, a lot of pictures, images, graphical designs, and post them online for the company I am working for. And I also make everything graphical, every bit of graphical design or web design I do. And I have to try to remember that I do not get to decide what other people think about my content. So I do not get to decide whether something is good or bad, whether something could have been better, or whether something is absolutely perfect and amazing. That's not up to me. My subjective opinion does actually not matter. That is really important for especially people who work in creative industries, but I would say everyone, to not be a perfectionist, because that is often just an excuse to not start at all. No one is perfect the first time we do something. We will make mistakes. I have a lot of terrible videos on my YouTube channel. This is really bad marketing for the YouTube channel now that I'm thinking about it, but I have at least a dozen terrible videos on my channel. But those terrible videos are incredibly important, because without those terrible videos I wouldn't become better. You have to start somewhere. You have to be bad in order to get better. And no one is perfect, no one is good when they first start off. And some people think that in a year of doing something, or 2 or even 3 years, you will be amazing and everything will be perfect. And that just isn't true. It takes a lot of time getting good at something. You have to spend hours and hours practicing your craft in order to become good at it. That doesn't mean that you're not good enough. That just means that we have to start somewhere. And not starting is probably the only thing that will guarantee you not succeeding. We all have to start somewhere, and it isn't always easy, but you have to do it, and you have to try and keep going, even on the days where you feel like the things you do or the things you make aren't good enough. So I have this thing that I post videos even though I do not feel that they are any good. So the first video on my YouTube channel that did great is around, I think it's around 16,000 views right now. It was a video I was so unhappy with, but I was just so tired. I had been working for hours on that video. I have filmed it 4 times, and the video is around half an hour, so I have spent 2 hours just filming that video. And I decided that, you know what, this is it, we'll just post it. And luckily for me, it blew up. It did amazingly, considering my channel at that point only had around 1,200 subscribers. It did amazingly, and I was so happy about how the video performed, and it just made sense that I do not get to decide whether something is good or not. That is up to the people consuming my content or consuming the things I post in my day job as well. It isn't up to me to decide whether something is good or not. That is just my subjective opinion. Others have different opinions and might like other things than I do. And being in your head like that, like I've been so many times, just stops you from trying. And we have to try in order to get better, in order to do something. Just sticking inside of your comfort zone won't change anything. I wish it did. I wish I could achieve my dreams by just doing all the same things every single day, but you can't. It isn't possible. It's unfortunate, but it isn't possible. You have to get out of your comfort zone, and sometimes that means, in my case, releasing videos I'm unhappy with, as having videos where I say the wrong thing, or having to post videos multiple times in a day just because I wasn't happy with the last one. It happens, and that's totally okay. That's a part of the learning process. And I've only been doing this for, I think it's around 7-8 months now, which means that I still have a lot to learn. I still have a lot of development to do. And it's exactly that. You have to start, and you have to not be in your head about it. It is much easier said than done. I know that because I tend to do it myself, even though I know what's quote unquote right and what's wrong, what's the right way of thinking and what's the wrong way of thinking. But I still end up doing that, and it is honestly totally okay. It is totally okay to be in your own head, to feel like the thing you did wasn't good enough. But it being okay doesn't mean that it is true. There is a big difference there, because you are allowed to have feelings, you're allowed to have self-doubt, and you shouldn't be angry with yourself about it. That only makes it worse. So before, I used to post a bad video or do something bad, and I would get so angry with myself for the feelings I had, for feeling that I wasn't good enough. I would get angry with myself for actually feeling that I wasn't good enough, which sounds so stupid when you say it out loud. If you've ever felt that way, try saying it out loud. It doesn't sound too good. But I did that, and sometimes I still do it. I still get in my own head, and I still get angry with myself when I get in my own head. And it is so important to allow yourself to feel. I'm not saying that you should run around being unhappy all of the time, but just remember that you are allowed to have emotions. It doesn't make you stupid, it only makes you human. It is important to embrace your emotions and to handle them in a way that works for you. And it might take time to figure out what that is as well. So I guess the whole point is that things take time, and no one should ever get you to feel that you aren't good enough, because you are, and you will always be. So just remember that every time you have a bad day, week, or every time you feel like the thing you did wasn't good enough, it isn't true.